We recognize that we gather on land seized from the Western Abenaki people by European colonizers. We respect the Abenaki spiritual relationship to the land and waters of the Champlain Valley. We seek to build a more peaceful and just relations with them and to promote knowledge about their history and culture.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Well, that was a good morning. And welcome to the Champlain Valley Unitarian Universalist Society here in Middlebury. My name is Ronnie Romano. I'm the music director here at CVUUS. And this morning, the choir and I are really excited to share music with you that we have sung throughout this very unusual year, as well as a few pieces that you have not heard before. We're also excited to sing with you, and as you will soon see, we will be inviting you to do so frequently throughout the service. We hope that you will wholeheartedly join us when we invite you in. Before I go any further, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge all of the work that our choir has done throughout this year. You might remember last fall when we returned to in-person gatherings in the sanctuary, but didn't yet deem it safe to sing together as a congregation. The choir carried us through this time by diligently preparing hymns to sing each week so that we could listen and hum along and not go without that crucial element of a worship service, singing. The names of the choir members are listed on the back of the program, and not all of them are here today, but all of the names that are listed helped in some way to shape the sound of the choir that you will hear today. And so please just take a moment and join me in thanking them for this work this year. Yes, hands. Good. Okay. And speaking of the choir, they have all taken rapid COVID tests this morning, and they have all tested negative. Yes, thank goodness, which will allow us to sing our songs this morning without masks on. And we've also left some extra distance between us and you in the congregation to allow for some extra airspace. We're also very grateful for all the work done by so many others in this congregation to prepare services while Barnaby Feeder, our settled minister, is on sabbatical. I'm consistently and constantly amazed at how people here come together to get everything done. I also want to offer a special thanks to our guest pianist, Tim, who is wonderful. He will be playing with us today. And also to Janie Wolf, who will join us on flute for one piece. And to everybody else, the tech team, the greeters, the flower co-op, the ushers, and anyone else who contributes here, please know that your work is immensely appreciated and that we love you. Whether you come regularly here or occasionally or are with us for the first time, whether you're here in person or online, we are glad that you are here. If this is your first time attending a service, we invite you to contact us so that we can share more about who we are and what we do and learn more about you. Okay, and we strive to be a welcoming and active presence in the community, working together to build a world which is more beautiful, just, and compassionate. There's no better way to honor and perpetuate this work than by singing together. The best way to stay in touch with the many activities going on at CVUUS is to read the weekly email blast sent out on Wednesdays by Laura Asurmali, our office manager, who is actually here. Yay, Laura. And if you would like to be added to this list, please call the church office. A couple of quick other things. We invite you to join the annual meeting following this service, which will be here in the sanctuary. You can also join us in the fellowship hall downstairs for coffee and ice cream. Yes. And there are also still plants outside, which you may take home and leave a donation if you would like. You can't miss them. They're just out on the lawn. And so now I invite you to just take a deep breath with me and let us worship together. start with Come Sing a Song with Me.
And we will light the chalice as we do at the beginning of all Unitarian Universalist services. Jenny Ashenfelter will light the chalice as the choir will begin Rise Up, O Flame, number 362 in your hymnal. We can all sing it through a couple of times, and then the choir will start the round, and you may join on whatever part pleases you in the round.
Okay. Everybody hear me all right? Does this turn on? Okay, good. And now for the time for all ages, we're going to do something a little bit different today. And this was by request, actually. I think it was members of the choir who asked for this. I'm going to lead you all in a vocal warm-up, which will be very similar to what we actually do in our time in choir rehearsal. So if you really like what's about to happen right now, you should come join the choir. Yeah. So, anyway, and the choir is going to join us in this exercise, so you'll be able to watch them, and they will help you out. So we're just going to stay seated for this part, but I ask that you just sit tall, make sure you're not slouching, try to get your feet on the floor, and then just kind of relax your muscles and make sure everything is nice and not full of tension. And then just do a couple of deep breaths. Join me in the choir together. So we'll start in and out. And another one in and one more in and we'll start our first warm-up just humming. The choir will help us out. So we're just going to go up and down the scale. So we'll just Now we're going to go upwards. Now we'll switch to something different. So this one is he, oh. Ready? And he, oh. He, oh. He, oh. He, oh. Okay, just a couple more things. So this one, I think the choir likes this one. You always smile when I say we're going to do this. I hope that means you like it. So it goes like this. I know, 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 I know. The words are I know. First it goes up the scale. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. That's it. Here we go. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. And this is usually about the point where as we get higher, I switch the words to I saw. So we'll take that same key again and now say I saw instead of I know. Ready? I saw, 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 I saw. I saw, 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 I saw. And last one. I saw, 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 I saw. Good. All right, and now just one little fun thing to get you moving a little bit. So this one is wing-a-wing-a-wah. Wing-a-wing-a-wah, 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 wing-a-wing-a-wing-a-wing-a-wah. The choir knows this one well. They'll help you. Here we go. And a 1, 2, 3. Wing-a-wing-a-wah, 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 wing-a-wing-a-wing-a-wing-a-wah. 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 Winga winga wah, winga winga wah, winga winga wah, winga winga wah, winga 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 wah. Now we'll switch to zinga zinga za with a Z and zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga 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 za. Zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga 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 za. Zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga 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 za. Zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga 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 za. Couple more. Zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za. Last one. Zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga zinga za, zinga 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 za. Okay. And so that's how choir rehearsal normally starts. There'd be more than that. That's an abbreviated version. But if that was fun to you, come talk to me after the service. Okay. And we'll move now into our offering.
In case you couldn't tell, Ronnie loves the warm-up. Now's the time for our offering. Ronnie, I do have a question, though, before I so instruct folks. Will there be a time, when should folks bring their checks up to the basket if they have checks or money to share? After John and I speak? Will there be a musical time, as there sometimes is? Okay, great. You all got it. And so as is our normal, and also the basket for doing that is usually where the piano is. It's now over there, so you know. And then next to the flowers, thank you Flower Co-op, is the basket if you have any yellow cards. So please, during that same time when folks are bringing things up, if you have a yellow card, bring it over there, please. Our tradition here is to share our offering each month with a worthy organization, either locally or globally. This month in June, our designee, our donee, is the Addison County Community Trust, and it just so happens that the president of the board, the current president of the board, is a member here. John Barstow agreed that he would tell you a little bit about the great work that they do here in Addison County, primarily on affordable housing.
Good morning. Yeah, just wait until I'm done. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here, and I am so grateful to our congregation for sharing its plate with Addison County Community Trust, ACCT. Let me just give you ACCT by the numbers. We own and manage more than 700 permanently affordable homes, including 334 rental apartments, 75 single-family homes, and 340 home sites in 9 mobile home parks. We built, since 2005, we've built 119 new apartments, including, year before last, in Virgin's Community Apartments, 24 apartments, 14 kilowatt solar array on that building, EV charging station, considered the tightest passive house of its size in New England when it was built. And its costs were $7.3 million. Our budget is about $3.3 million a year. We have over 15 million in assets, and that doesn't tell the story, but it gives you an idea of the scale of what we do. Most of that money comes from HUD through the state. What it doesn't tell you is that with all that work, as you know, there is a huge and growing sort of gaping gap between the need and affordable and low-income homes. I try to talk about homes, not housing, because housing objectifies the whole thing. We don't live in housing, we live in homes. So ACCT builds and manages affordable homes. I want to focus briefly on mobile home parks because it's one of the state's biggest sources of affordable homes. And we own the land of all the mobile home parks in Addison County. But the folks who live there own their own mobile homes. So this is home ownership as opposed to rental. So what's our job? Infrastructure management in mobile home parks away from central water and sewer that need massive amounts of whole new septic fields, water, really basic needs that we provide as the property owner landlord. The state is woken up to the fact that this is really important and is getting more and more money to us, but these are non-sexy, out of sight projects that are hugely important, and it's so-called workforce housing, just great folks who want to live here and work here, and that's what they can afford, and they're proud to be able to own a mobile home. I've probably already gone over, but I just want you to know that ACC also provides support. For the elderly, it has a whole program supporting them at home. During COVID, our folks were in touch with residents all the time. We also, thanks to some very generous local donors, invented a program, it's in its second year now, called Family Supportive Services. Because we say it starts with a home, but it doesn't end with a home, and family dysfunction and challenges can really derail folks being successful in their homes. And we have a full-time person who is there to help people make sure they don't forget to re-up and recertify every year, which they have to do to stay in these places. So your generosity is going to make a difference, even though we're far from where we need to be. I'm leaving a few of these annual reports and a little 3-pager out there, and please seek me out if you have questions. Thank you so much.
Each week, we take time to reflect on the milestones and passages that are shared on yellow cards. And we have several today. The first from Lise Anderson and Mary Hadley. Many thanks to the choppers and makers, bakers and plant donors, sewers, it looks a lot like sewers actually, and crisp makers, booksellers and kitchen cleaners, to all those who helped in any way to create community at CVUUS on Saturday for the Rhubarb Fest. Thank you. And I would add my thanks to Mary and Lise, and all of those top stocks who were the leadership on that. Also related, we have a yellow card from Elizabeth Golden, reminding us that the book sale crew could use your help moving boxes of books from the fellowship hall to her car out front using a dolly after we complete the book sale after the service today, which I guess is somehow after the ice cream before you rush up to the annual meeting.
After we service, then we do the annual meeting, and like social hour, then annual meeting, then book sale, then load the books.
Okay, comes after the annual meeting. Thank you, thank you. We hold these milestones and other unspoken milestones and passages, joys, and concerns in our hearts, and Ronnie will lead us in a meditation.
For meditation today, I'm going to have us meditate on a pitch. I'm going to have us hum a note, and while we hum it for about a minute or so, I'm going to kind of show you all the different colors that that note can have with the piano. So I'll ask you to just join me in humming this pitch, and you breathe whenever you need to, and just come back in and out as you will. But we'll all just hum together here.
I was probably listening to classical music while I was still in utero. Music, especially sung music, has been an integral part of my life. At the age of 8, I began singing 8 services and 11 services each week at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City. That lasted for 4 years. Thomas Tallis and William Byrd gave way to top 40 in high school. In adulthood, I drifted through pop, folk, 70s and 80s rock, and back to classical. I sang Beethoven, Walton, and Fauré in large chorales. In my bridge job from work to retirement, I stumbled almost accidentally into forming Chrysalis, an Essex County, New York-based amateur a cappella group dedicated to singing to hospice patients in their homes. The folks at Wellspring were instrumental in giving me the help and confidence I needed to lead it. It was this experience, more than any other, that taught me that music has power to evoke, to heal, and to comfort. That power was palpable in the faces and postures of patients and their loved ones. It helped them relax, remember, laugh, grieve, and gather strength. It motivated about 20 singers to learn a repertoire of about 100 songs and drive absurd distances to rehearsals and 30-minute sings. It lasted 9 years, but formed friendships that last to this day. It taught me that music really is a universal language, that music goes where words cannot go, that it is a form of grace and the sound of love and the spirit of life.
I have a hard time putting into words my feelings when I sing, but anyway, I tried in the form of some haiku. I am united with others, lifting voices to heal the spirit. Troubles of the day drift away on rivers of harmonious joy, making music that alters my very being and leaves me newborn.
I was born and baptized into the Anglican Church of England. That's the Episcopal in the U.S. That's Larry's part. My father sang tenor in the church choir, and when I was about 9 or 10, I was introduced to the boys' choir, wearing the red cassock and the white surplice and all the trimmings. We rehearsed each week with the adults. We sang the hymns and one anthem every week, and the boys' choir joined in with all that. But the main function of the boys' choir, to me, as a kid, seemed to be on the third Sunday of every month, they had communion. And so all the adults would get up, they would line up to take communion, and the boys would be left up in the choir on our knees, in the prayer position, and we would sing O Lamb of God over and over again until everyone had received communion and come back. So I'll give you a little taste of O Lamb of God, just once though. And I'm not doing it on my knees in the prayer position. O Lamb of God, you take away the sins of the world. Have mercy on us. O Lamb of God, grant us thy peace.
I think this next song has really become our favorite anthem. This is Someday from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Some of you might know the Disney movie or the musical. It's a really moving text, really, really moving text.
I sing in the choir because I like singing and I enjoyed the music and I really enjoy the fellowship of it. And as a bonus, it turns out that music and choral singing are good for our health. So I looked into that. Scientists tell us that music stimulates more parts of the brain than any other human activity does, and that we are hardwired to respond to singing. Here's how that works. You might remember the vagus nerve from a biology class. It's the key fiber of our parasympathetic nervous system, which controls things like digestion, immunity, and heart rate, elements of ourselves that we can't consciously command. The vagus nerve has branches that connect directly to the vocal cords and the larynx, our voice box. To sing, we have to breathe effectively, so that increases the amount of oxygen in the blood and works a range of muscles in the upper body. Regular singing extends lung vital capacity and exercises the respiratory muscles. Singing boosts endorphin levels. It is thought to ease anxiety, grief, and depression, and it has even been reported to bring euphoria. And if that's not enough, researchers from Harvard and Yale have suggested that regular singing can increase life expectancy. In her book, The Power of Music, Elena Manes noted, one reason music is so powerful is that sound actually penetrates our bodies. So I'll finish with a few favorite sentences from her book. Daniel Bernard Romain, an American composer and violinist of Haitian descent, said, "You know when someone says that a piece of music touched me or moved me, it's very literal. The sound of my voice enters your ear canal and it's moving your eardrum. That's a very intimate act. I am very literally touching you."
I've been asked to read this lovely poem by Mary Oliver, which speaks to one of the many ways music can be a part of our lives and touch us in unexpected moments. This poem has a deeply personal significance for me, which some of you may have heard me speak about before in a previous service. And if you've heard this story before, please forgive me repeating myself. It tends to happen frequently at this age. My experience has been that music helps us to live more fully, to enjoy the richness of life to a greater degree. We laugh, we cry, we sing, we dance to music. We fall in love to music. We remember with the help of music. My late husband Jim and I did it all to music. There seemed to constantly be a musical soundtrack playing in the background throughout our years together. So when one day, some months after his passing, a copy of this poem mysteriously fell out of an old backpack of his, I read it through tears of joy, knowing that that day it was meant especially for me. Red Bird Explains Himself by Mary Oliver. Yes, I was the brilliance floating over the snow, and I was the song in the summer leaves. But this was only the first trick I had hold of among my other mythologies. For I also knew obedience, bring sticks to the nest, food to the young, kisses to my bride. But don't stop there, stay with me, listen. If I was the song that entered your heart, then I was the music of your heart that you wanted and needed. And thus wilderness bloomed there with all its followers, gardeners, lovers, people who weep for the death of rivers. And this was my true task, to be the music of the body. Do you understand? For truly the body needs a song, a spirit, a soul. And no less, to make this work, the soul has need of a body. And I am both of the earth and I am of the inexplicable beauty of heaven, where I fly so easily, so welcome, yes. And this is why I have been sent, to teach this to your heart.
We did not read each other's contributions before now, so I'm going to take a moment and also appreciate the resonances, as it were, among the things that we're saying. Music is the pleasure the human mind experiences from counting without being aware that it is counting. That's according to Gottfried Leibniz, the 17th century German mathematician and philosopher. Stephen Sondheim said, "Math and music are intimately related, not necessarily on a conscious level, but sure." Any mathematician will tell you how often we hear someone say, "I am not a math person." I love the idea of self-identified non-math people unconsciously doing math while singing or playing or just listening to music. Subconsciously, you are, in fact, a math person. At rehearsal, Tim suggested that when we sing Someday, we should think of the rhythm not as a march, but as a pulse. The connections between music and math run through the human heart. When I look at an electrocardiogram, I see sine waves, the same math we use to analyze sound. We identify the heart, that body part with a pulse, as our emotional center, the source of love and compassion. We sing our hearts out. I sing in the choir because I find pleasure in being a music person, in community with other music people for a little while. It challenges my mind, it feeds my soul. It reminds me how thin the boundaries are between mind and heart. And you can't sing your heart out without involving your whole body. You can't feel the resonance without listening to other voices. Sound waves, brain waves, heart waves, sometimes resonating, sometimes in juicy dissonance. We sing our hearts out.
As we get near the end of our choir service today, I want to address the title of the service, A Choir is a Beautiful Thing, and where that comes from and what it means. But first, I want to just take a minute to talk about what a choir really is, beyond the literal dictionary definition, which says that a choir is an organized company of singers. My teacher, Vince Peterson, once put it this way: a choir is an instrument, a singular instrument, composed of multiple people who are blending their voices together in song. It's important to note that if we follow this definition, even a choir that meets every week to rehearse, like the one you see here, is never really the same choir. The choral instrument is different each time because, despite what I might hope, everyone does not always come to rehearsal, and people feel differently on different days. And because of that, they sing differently on different days. This is one of the many reasons why a choir is such a special thing to me. It's a living, breathing organism that evolves and adapts to the world around it. And now I want to share a short reading with you from The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery, which is titled, A Choir is a Beautiful Thing. Every time, it's a miracle. Here are all these people, full of heartache or hatred or desire, and we all have our troubles, and the school year is filled with vulgarity and triviality and consequence. And there are all these teachers and kids of every shape and size, and there's this life that we're struggling through, full of shouting and tears and laughter and fights and breakups and dashed hopes and unexpected luck. It all disappears just like that when the choir begins to sing. Everyday life vanishes into song. You are suddenly overcome with a feeling of brotherhood, of deep solidarity, even love. And it diffuses the ugliness of everyday life into a spirit of perfect communion. Even the singers' faces are transformed. If we're talking about the singers literally in this room, it's no longer Janie Wolfe or Neil Chippendale or Dale or anyone else here. It's human beings surrendering to music. Every time, it's the same thing. I feel like crying. My throat goes all tight, and I do the best I can to control myself, but sometimes it gets close. I can hardly keep myself from sobbing. So when they sing a canon, I look down at the ground because it's just too much emotion all at once. It's too beautiful, and everyone singing together, this marvelous sharing. I am no longer myself. I am just one part of the sublime whole, to which the others also belong, and I always wonder at such moments why this cannot be the rule of everyday life, instead of being an exception during a choir. When the music stops, everyone applauds, their faces all lit up, the choir radiant. It is so beautiful. In the end, I wonder if the true movement of the world might not be a voice raised in song. I just want to thank you all very much for coming this morning to this service. This is a really, really special thing for all of us, for the choir. And so for our benediction today, I just want to send you out to sing. All the time, anywhere. Use your voice. The world needs your voice. And I also just want to remind you that you can head downstairs for coffee hour and ice cream. Ice cream, have I said ice cream? And that the annual meeting will follow coffee hour up here in the sanctuary. And for our last song, I want to just read you something very quickly about it. So our postlude today is going to be a sung postlude that you are very wholeheartedly invited to join in on. This is a piece called Lead with Love, written by Melanie DeMoore. And here's what she writes about it in the back cover of the piece. Lead with Love was written in answer to a call for connection in troubled times. It's about persistence, community, and moving ahead. One foot in front of the other is a metaphor for determination and forward motion. I think of love warriors like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, and many others. All of them started their movements out of love of their people and not hatred of someone else. When singing this song in concert, it is my request that you invite the audience to sing with you. This song is not meant to be listened to. It is for all to be a part. There is no need to teach the song. We will begin with a few measures of hand clapping on the 2 and 4 so that everyone can join in, and you will figure the rest out from there. And I'm just scanning the room for Poppy. Oh, there she is. Poppy is going to solo with us. So.